MSRP, what the hell happened? Back in the day, I remember MSRP was the highest price you'd pay for something. You would never pay above MSRP because that's called a ripoff. What happened to good value? What happened to MSRP being the highest price an item was? And back in the day, MSRP, it was, you looked at it and you thought, wow, that is a pretty good deal. Anything below that and it's an insta-buy. These days, we'd be lucky to get any products in MSRP. Guys, today I want to talk about value in hardware, the abuse of the MSRP and why it's actually just a marketing tactic, especially with graphics cards, to get you to perceive something has more value than it actually does, because these things are never even offered at MSRP. Guys, let's talk about it. Nvidia's up to their tactics again. I saw they announced the RTX 5060 and 5060 Ti, and the 5060 Ti, just like how I covered in one of my latest videos, it does have an 8GB and 16GB configuration, guys. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say that this pricing looks too good to be true for modern day Nvidia. $430 for a 16GB Nvidia graphics card, even if it does have 128-bit bus, that's kind of too good of a deal in this modern climate, right? That's their MSRP, and guys, I'm just gonna tell you today that MSRP is totally fake. Nvidia has no plan on selling this 16GB graphics card at below $500. The birds are going crazy today, man. We're walking outside again. You guys seem to like it, or at least the views like it when I walk outside. So I just thought, hey, you know, I get my exercise in, I get away from the screens in the house, and I get to make a video. So I like doing it. At least for now, when I got just regular talking head stuff. Coming out with the 5060 at $300, 5060 Ti at what, $380 I think, and then the 5060 Ti 16GB at $430. Downright reasonable pricing that is just giving me suspicious vibes from Nvidia. I do not trust a word they say at this point about MSRP. Really, $430 for a 16GB Nvidia graphics card. You have me intrigued. Even if it only has 128-bit bus, that GDDR7 brings this thing over 420 gigabytes per second. I think it's like 448. Downright reasonable for 430 buckaroos, guys. And I'll say this now, if this does end up selling at that price, it will be sold out and scalped to Kingdom Come. So either Nvidia does it or the scalpers will get to it. But I'm just gonna say it now, like, MSRP is a joke. Nvidia has no plan on releasing this thing at $430. They told Hardware Unboxed, well, yeah, I mean, the MSRP is $430, but you know, tariffs will affect that. Well, Donald Trump has come out and he said that tariffs are not even going to affect computer parts, and that includes GPUs, consumer graphics cards are not affected by tariffs. So, I mean, you know, if electronics aren't, then what is affected by tariffs? What is that's really important to us? I don't really know. I guess this whole tariffs thing was just really just one big bluff tactic after all. Kind of crazy to see that. So yeah, 5060 Ti at 430 bucks. Really decent deal. I'm just suspicious. I have trust issues with Nvidia now. I think most of you can agree with that. And this would be offering those on a low end graphics card, anything like an RX 580, 3060 Ti, even 8 gig. A decent upgrade path, I think, to a higher VRAM card for, you know, under $500. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you seriously think that Nvidia is just gonna be so gracious this generation in the low end? And it's crazy to think that this is even gracious anymore, but I guess it is. You know, $300 for an 8GB GPU. It's pretty much I mean, I guess it is the bare minimum of what people would be willing to pay for this 8GB GPU, but I'm just more surprised with the 16GB at 430 bucks. I thought they would have definitely, you know, going to GDDR7, just kept it at $500 there for that 16GB class, but I guess not. And it's a really good thing, but also them sticking with 8GB of graphics memory, that it's a non-starter, guys. It really sucks. It's obsolete. DOA even only servicing people that really just want to play indie games, play esports games that are really easy to run. And I can see, you know, there's still a huge market for that. And those people might not want to spend a lot on a PC anyway. So I guess it can service those people. But man, they really got to offer that at a lower price. $300 for 8 gigabytes, just, it hurts, man. It really does. It hurts. But hey, that's just the MSRP, right? This suggested price, which they're really taking that name to meaning, suggested. Like, Nvidia goes hard with that, dude. They really just tell their retailers, yeah, that price, it ain't real. It really is suggested. I mean, this 5060, I doubt it will even sell for 300. I think it will sell, you know, AIB models 350, 400, let's go. What's MSRP? And that's my whole point of this video, guys, is we got to stop getting hyped when Nvidia launches a product, or really AMD, Intel, anybody, you know, even Nintendo with their new console at the 450, it'll be scalped to Kingdom Come, I'm sure. We got to stop getting excited about these MSRP prices. Really, we aren't going to know what a product costs until we see it on the store shelf and we can hit add to cart. That's really just modern day electronic shopping, it seems, is you can just lie about your product and the price it costs, and there's no consequences for that. And it's crazy. I think almost this should be illegal to say that your product has an MSRP and then charge, you know, 100% more, sometimes twice the price of what your product is actually supposed to cost. And it's just despicable. When Nvidia comes out with a product, I've always thought, okay, they did the math. They want to sell it at this MSRP price. That's the price they know they can get their margins at. That's the price that they're confident in market sentiment and people will be buying it. But with this 5060 Ti, this 16 gigabyte card at 430, I'm thinking they're looking at this and they know they don't want to sell it at 430. They're fully planning on this thing selling at $500 and above. Knowing the market right now, and I don't know why they're just saying 430, because it's not going to happen. I just know it's not, and that's really scummy. You know, because I understand supply and demand. I understand that you have a product a lot of people want and it's desirable, and so you should charge more for that. But I think you just got to be more honest, Nvidia. And then I know AMD and Intel would do the same thing if their product was as desirable. You know, their graphics cards just not as much people want them. But it's just scummy, guys. We gotta stop giving into this MSRP. Like, imagine if your friend bought a game and it turns out this game is a banger, which we don't have a lot of nowadays. Bought it for $30, you go and check, and then all of a sudden it's $45. Well, the developers of this game, for whatever reason, they saw a lot of people were buying it, so they just increased the price 50%. Limited time deal, 50% more. MSRP is a joke, right? Well, that's basically what Nvidia is doing with their graphics cards, and it's just scummy. You know, your friend, this thing's been advertised to you to cost a certain amount, and it doesn't anymore. So all the comparisons that you've seen, all the data you've seen on this product, it's irrelevant if it's taking into account price, right? Because the price is botched, the price is not consistent with the marketing. And honestly, that's false advertising. You know, they should go to court for that. They should be sued for that. Also, something that occurs to me is Nvidia does this not only with us gamers, they do this with their data center clients. You know, everyone wants one of their new Hopper GPUs to train all the new AI models. And so they're selling these things for 40 grand, 50 grand. They're just like, who wants it? Well, you'll get a contract. Okay, the next person gets a higher bid on that same contract. It's the same product, right? So it's just scummy, guys. Like, it just feels like everywhere in the world now is trying to squeeze every last cent out of me, man. Everywhere in the world is trying to squeeze everything I have in cash. And I know it hasn't always been this way. I remember back in the day when I loaded up a game, when I bought a game, you paid the shelf price and you got a full end product. And now games are full to the brim with microtransactions. This is where I want to talk about the Marathon reveal. I was hyped for Marathon. If you don't know, Marathon is Bungie's newest game, the studio that created Halo, the studio that created Destiny. And I played Destiny since the D1 beta in 2013. I freaking love Bungie games. Although the studio, you know, over time has become more and more money hungry. It's been really bad in Destiny. You know, we started out paying $60 for a game, $20 for DLCs and then $40 for DLCs. And then they added microtransactions for skins. And now in Destiny, we pay like $100 a year to play the game. And then also they add skins like every month. Develop the game, instead of making the game better, they're using that money and time and effort to make more skins, which I never buy. So it kind of just sucks. It sucks really bad. So yeah, I was a D2 player, or I've been a Destiny player for like over 10 years. Really love Bungie games. So I was excited for Marathon. This thing comes out and it's just appealing. It's trying to chase this trend through extraction shooters. It looks like an Apex Legends clone. I'm like, what the heck? I do not like Apex Legends. I've tried it on the channel for benchmarking. I don't like the way it plays. I don't like battle royales too much. I don't like big maps. I like smaller arena shooters like Halo, like Destiny's PvP. I grinded Destiny PvP. I probably have over like 3,000, 4,000 hours in Destiny 1 and 2 combined in over the 10 years I played it. And most of that time was in PvP. So I was looking forward to exclusively PvP Bungie game, but man, they dropped the ball with this. The marketing hype, all that was crazy. But my main point with this, you know, I guess I shouldn't go into that much detail on it. I'm not like a marathon reviewer. My main point with this is Bungie was telling the people they're gonna charge $40 for this game that only has PvP. And then they're gonna load it to the brim with microtransactions and skins. And apparently they made these characters look dumb and uninteresting on purpose, so you'll buy skins to make them look better. And that's sickening, bro. That's just an example of why you just don't get your money's worth anymore. Back in my day, we bought a game like Halo Reach and we got all the skins, all the customization in the world. You just had to grind for them, which was great. And you know, graphics cards feel like this, man. Like, it feels like the 60 class is the base game, right? You pay $300, $400 for 8 gigs of VRAM. Well, that's the base game. If you want a full experience, well, you got to pay $1,000 for a 70 Ti card with at least 16 gigs of VRAM. There you go. But Nvidia's coming in with this 60 Ti with 16 gigs of VRAM, which honestly sounds too good to be true. It really does, guys. It sounds like they have no intention of selling this thing at $430, and that just feels scummy to me. I just got a realization moment that you know, Nvidia just no longer has any intention of selling its products at MSRP or really anywhere close to it. So that was my thoughts on that. Marathon, that game, it looks like a screw up, like really bad. I thought the trailers looked awesome. I don't think the art style looks that bad. I think the characters look really bad, but the art style doesn't. The gameplay just looks really slow paced and I'm not a fan of that. Another walking and talking video, I know. Are you gonna buy a 5060 Ti or 5060 to play Marathon? And what kind of skins are you gonna buy with that? Let me just say, you're part of the problem in the gaming industry if you're buying skins. Please stop. Please stop buying all microtransactions. I don't care if the skin is double cheeked up in Marvel Rivals, stop it, because you're ruining the gaming industry. Support good games and do not support microtransactions, please. I think if you can snag a 5060 Ti, 16 gigabyte, anywhere close to MSRP, it's a good buy. $430. Like I said, it'll probably be close to a, I forgot what exactly I said. I think it's close to a 4070 based on my performance on the high end. So almost 3080 performance with 16 gigs of VRAM for $430. That is pretty darn good with DLSS 4 and all the modern media engines. I mean, that's why I'm thinking Nvidia has no freaking intention of selling this thing at MSRP, dude. So are you gonna buy one of these 60 class cards to play one of those dumb live service games? Let me know. Silicon Steak, signing out. Every spec he's on deck, from GPUs to CPUs, he knows it all. No question too big, no detail too small. He's got the knowledge, he's got the skill. When he drops his take, the haters stand